Is Sweden more democratic than Uruguay? Probably to a certain extent, but that's still far from the whole picture. This will be made clear when the Varieties of Democracy, or V-Dem, have compiled all data from 329 different variables regarding democracy from countries all around the world.
From an academic point of view, there are two measures of democracy today, Freedom House and Polity4. They are very narrow in their conception of democracy, and there are many dimensions of democracy that they are not measuring. So from an academic point of view, our analyses are extremely limited. The second reason is that about $13 billion are spent every year on democracy support in the world. And with the limited measures of democracy, there is very little we know about whether those 13 billions have any effects or not.
Democracy is a contested concept in politics, and there's a need to be precise in one's definition. That's the main reason why we should measure the various indicators that make up democracy.
So how is this way of measuring it better than the ones we're using today?
Well, some of the earlier democratic measures are biased towards a particular brand of democracy, a Western liberal democratic system, whereas the Varieties of Democracy project aims to look at democracy from various angles, from various principles of democracy, not limited to the Western values of democracy.
Now, key persons in the V-Dem program have gathered at the University of Gothenburg to evaluate some of the collected data. By the spring of 2014, this would sum up to more than 20 million pieces of data on democratization from more than 160 countries.
I think a number of countries will be happy to begin with. A country like Uruguay will score very high probably on participatory and deliberative dimensions of democracy, and maybe be shown to be more democratic than even Sweden or the United States or the UK or a country like that. And I think there will be many countries that are more democratic than we think if we just think about the sort of the American type or narrow conception of democracy. And then, of course, there will be a number of countries who will not be that happy, who pretend or like to pretend or that they are democratic, but won't come out very good. But that, we hope, is an incentive to improve.
I think one of the positive results is not just as an outcome, it's about the process. And I think it's very much about giving this whole project credibility. So this is not just a project that's being developed in the West. This is a project that is trying to understand what democracy means in its fullest sense by collaborating with a massive international network from all over the world, as well as also positioning it historically. So it goes back to 1900. It's not just about what's happening now.
This Friday, V-Dem will present its first results from 84 countries. But the great vision is to be the natural tool in several aspects of democratization.
It's going to revolutionize, I think, the study of democratization in particular, with the wealth of data available from this project. And maybe also the study of the effects of democracies. And then it's going to become a standard tool in bilateral, multilateral discussions that are related to good governance, democracy, and human rights, a standard reference that international actors use in their collaborations.